Hello, my name is Matthew Lopez, and I decided to do my presentation on the herpes simplex virus type 1, or also known as cold sores. Introduction to the pathological disorder. Cold sores are caused by herpes simplex virus type 1, or also known as HSV1, a highly contagious lifelong viral infection. I will be exploring the symptoms, causes, transmission, diagnosis, treatment, complications, history, and recent research. The goal of this presentation is to provide a comprehensive understanding of HSV1 as a chronic but manageable condition that affects billions globally. Increased awareness can help reduce stigma and support better care and prevention. I also decided to do this pathological disorder because I suffer from cold sore outbreaks, and I've been receiving them ever since I was a little kid. I know this disorder wasn't on the list, but I assumed it would be fine to also do HSV1 because it is also considered a pathological disorder. So, and I could also relate to this disorder. So this is why I wanted to present on it. What is HSV1? Herpes simplex virus type 1 is a DNA virus in the herpes virus family. Primarily causes oral herpes resulting in cold sores around the mouth and lips. Establishes latency in the trigeminal ganglia and reactivates through life. Can also infect other areas like eyes, face, and genitals through contact. Who is at risk? The genetic factors. Family history. People with close relatives who frequently experience cold sores may be genetically predisposed to more frequent or severe outbreaks. So I do have some family members that also receive cold sores. Actually, my little sister receives cold sores, so I feel like sometimes when she has an outbreak and I'm around her, I'm a little nervous because I feel like she could also cause an outbreak in me, and I feel like that has happened a couple times. HLA gene variants. Certain human leukocytes antigen types may influence susceptibility and immune response to HSV1. Innate immunity genes. Variants in genes that regulate the immune system, like toll-like receptors and interferon response genes, may affect how well a person controls the virus after initial exposure. Genetic predisposition to autoimmune disorders, such as eczema or lupus, may increase risk for complications such as eczema herpetitis. Who is at risk? Continuing environmental factors. Early exposure. Infection usually occurs during childhood, especially in crowded living conditions or where hygiene access is limited. So I feel like I was exposed to this disorder early in my childhood. I would say around 10, 9 or 10. And it could have been because I used to go out to a lot of family parties and stuff, and people usually share drinks and stuff all the time. So I think that's how I got exposed to it. I'm not too sure. A weakened immune system. Individuals with HIVs, AIDS, cancer, or those on immunosuppressive medications, such as chemotherapy or organ transplant drugs, are more likely to experience severe and recurrent outbreaks. Stress, psychological stress can weaken the immune system, and it's a common trigger for HSV1 reactivation. So one of my triggers I feel like is this one. I feel like usually I could get stressed out easily, and not easily, but I feel like I have a lot of stuff going on in my life with school, work. I technically work two jobs, so sometimes it could be stressful, and I feel like when I'm very stressed, I tend to have an outbreak. Illness or fever, being sick with another illness especially a fever, can reactivate the virus and cause cold sores. So actually, this one happens a lot for me as well. When I have a fever, because I get fevers usually. I usually get fevers a lot when I get sick. Typically when I get sick, I get a fever, and after I recover from the fever, after I feel better, typically like a day or two after, I'll have like a outbreak of cold sores. Actually in December, my I had gotten really sick in last December, and I had a really bad fever, and I was like bedridden. And once I got better, or once I started feeling better, I actually had the worst outbreak I had. My whole like top lip and my bottom lip was covered in cold sores. Um, it was pretty bad. It's the worst I've had it, and I think it was because of the fever, and it really weakened my immune system. Sunlight exposure, prolonged exposure to sun, especially without lip protection, can trigger outbreaks, particularly on the lips. Fatigue and poor sleep, these weaken the immune response and increase the chance of flare-ups. So this could probably want to be one of my flare-ups as well, because I do not get enough sleep. I feel like, yeah, I honestly only get like sometimes, because I work two jobs, sometimes I only get 4 to 5 hours of sleep at times. Menstruation or hormonal changes in some individuals, hormonal fluctuations act as a trigger for recurrence. Poor nutrition or vitamin deficiencies, especially low levels of zinc, lysine, or vitamin C, may impair the body's ability to suppress the virus. Signs and symptoms, early prodrome, tingling, burning, or itching before sore appears, painful fluid-filled blisters that burst, crust, and heal within 7 to 10 days. Initial outbreak may include systemic symptoms like fever, headache, and sore throat. Some individuals remain asymptomatic but can still spread the virus. So my symptoms or my signs that I'm gonna get a cold sore is I'll feel a tingling sensation wherever I'm gonna get the cold sores, and it's typically on my lips or around my lips. And I always feel the tingling like the day before or the night before, and I already know I'm gonna get the cold sore because I feel that tingle. And then when I wake up in the morning, the cold sore is usually already developing and it's there, and I can feel like the itching sensation. Causes and risk factors. Transmission occurs through oral contact, including kissing and sharing personal items. Virus enters through mucosal surfaces or minor skin abrasions. Common triggers for reactivation include illness, stress, fatigue, sunlight, and hormonal changes, like I mentioned before. Child infection is common. Hygiene, access, and geography affect prevalence. I feel like usually, I think I stated before that a big cause for mine as well could be if I'm sharing a drink with someone. So I typically try to stay away with sharing drinks, or yeah, like sharing water with people or sharing cups with people, because I feel like that's usually a trigger for me or a flare up. I don't know why. It's just weird. Pathophysiology. HSV1 infects epithelial cells and travels retrograde to the trigeminal ganglion. The virus remains latent in neurons and reactivates due to stressors. Upon reactivation, virus returns to the skin and causes lesions through viral replication and immune activation. Typically does not cross the blood-brain barrier. Rare complications include encephalitis. Diagnosis. Visual examination is often sufficient for diagnosis. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you're going to get it's pretty obvious when you're having an outbreak and you can see, so you could self-diagnose easy. PCR testing provides high sensitivity and specificity in detecting viral DNA. Viral culture and zinc smear used for lesion analysis. Blood tests detect antibodies. Helpful in diagnosing asymptomatic or atypical cases or during initial infections. Disease prevalence. So the global prevalence is 3.7 billion people under the age of 50 are infected with HSV1 worldwide, according to the World Health Organization. That's approximately 67% of the global population under 50. Prevalence is highest in Africa, Southeast Asia, and parts of the Americas, largely due to early childhood exposure, limited access to hygiene and healthcare, and closed living conditions. In the United States, about 48% to 50% of Americans under age 50 carry HSV1. Rate increases with age. Older adults are more likely to test positive. Many carriers are asymptomatic, meaning they never develop noticeable cold sores but can still transmit the virus. Children and adolescents. Most HSV1 infections are acquired during early childhood, especially in households where the virus is already present. So I believe, like I stated before, I believe I received the virus in my early childhood. In lower income or densely populated communities, transmission tends to happen earlier. Management and treatment. There is no cure, which sucks because I wish there was a cure. But antiviral therapy reduces outbreak duration and severity. Oral medications, acyclovir, valsaclovir, or famciclovir usually help. Topical treatments like doxycycline for early symptom relief. Supportive care includes pain relievers, cold compresses, and rest. Alternative remedies, lysine, zinc, lemon balm also help. So actually, what I would do at first to help with my outbreaks is I usually would just use the over-the-counter treatments, um, such as Abreva. I think Abreva is a really common one that everyone knows, and it was just a treatment that you just put on your lip on the cold sore to prevent the tingling, the burning sensation, and that would help. But I don't know, over time, like I got kind of like tired of using those type of treatments because I would always need to carry it on me, I guess. Like even if I had a outbreak, I don't know, it just seemed like inconvenient. I also, when I have an outbreak, I also try to put ice on it. Um, as it says here, cold compresses. I try to compress it with ice, and that usually helps with the itching and burning. Um, this stuff usually just helps with the itching and burning. It doesn't help it like go away faster. Um, but yeah, I would put I would put a spoon in the fridge, in the freezer, and I would use it and just put it on the cold sore, and it would help a lot. Um, lately, or as I was mentioning before earlier in the previous slides, when I got really sick in December, I went to when I got really sick in December and I had that really bad outbreak all over my lips. I had multiple cold sores. That was the first time ever happening to me. I went to urgent care, and that was the first time I got prescribed valsaclovir, and that helped. It was a big, it was a big blue pill that you take orally, and that helped. I feel like it helped it a lot. I feel like it helped the cold sores go away faster without it bruising or there being a scar. I mean, so I feel like it helped, and it was, mind you, it was a lot of cold sores over my lips. I'm not even kidding. It was like disgusting, and I hope that never happens to me again. But yeah, it was all over my lips. And I think valsaclovir did help a lot, but that can only be prescribed to you. And lately, what I've been taking for the past couple months that has helped me, I feel like, is lysine. Lysine is not proven. It's not like scientifically proven to help, but people do say it helps it helps prevent less outbreaks, I guess you could say. And then when you do have an outbreak, lysine can help the duration of the outbreak, and it will leave no scarring. So I've been taking lysine for the past couple months, and then I think a month ago I actually had an outbreak, and I've been taking the lysine. And it's recommended when you have an outbreak to take 2 or 3 pills of the lysine, but I was just still only taking one per day, and I feel like it did help. It did help the outbreak that I had, and it left no scarring or anything like that. So I think right now what I'm using a lot, and I actually take a pill every day, is lysine. Prognosis. HSV1 is lifelong but typically mild. Outbreaks may decrease over time. Most people experience minimal health impact beyond initial infection. Complications include eye infections, eczema, herpetism, or encephalitis. Most severe in immunocompromised individuals or neonates. Disease history. Herpes described by Hippocrates. Herpes means to creep in Greek. Modern classification of HSV1 and HSV2 developed in the 20th century. Acyclovir introduced in the 1980s as the first effective antiviral treatment, which acyclovir is and valcyclovir is probably the best treatment you can get. Stigma around herpes persisted historically due to association with sexual transmission. Current research. CRISPR gene editing being studied to eliminate latent virus from neurons. Prophylactic and therapeutic vaccines under development. No FDA-approved vaccine yet. New antiviral creams and gels in trials for faster healing and reduced recurrence. Research into links between HSV1 and Alzheimer's or cancer. Experimental. I'm hoping that they could find a cure soon or fast, because as you'll see, I have a slide a little further on about how this disorder has impacted my daily life when I have it. What is CRISPR? I just wanted to touch on this a little, because I actually did not know what this is until I was fully researching HSV1. So by definition, CRISPR stands for clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. It is a natural genome editing system found in bacteria. The purpose in nature: bacteria use CRISPR as an immune defense to fight viruses. It stores segments of viral DNA to recognize and destroy future infections. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and I wanted to make a slide just for that, because I didn't really know what it was. So real life impact. The emotional toll usually is embarrassment, lots of anxiety, low self-esteem during outbreaks. Social effects could be a stigma, avoiding close contact or public events. Physical discomfort is usually, as I mentioned before, pain, itching, and irritation during flare-ups. High-risk groups: severe newborns and immunocompromised individuals. Daily burden: managing triggers, carrying meds, lifestyle adjustments. So as I said before, with the Abreva, having to carry it around and stuff, which is always like annoying and obnoxious, and I would have to take the time if I was at work or at school to put it on, and which was usually an emotional toll on me, because it would be like embarrassing just having like cream, I guess you could say, or a topical treatment on my lips. Financial costs: recurring expense of antiviral treatment. So financial cost is not really a big deal, but Breva is kind of pricey, so I think it's like 24 for a little like container like that. But I wanted to touch on this a little because I think the real life impact it has affected me a lot throughout my life, and I think it kind of sucks because I mean it's just something that happened, and it's just like I didn't know it was happening. So, but whenever I do get an outbreak or a flare up, I feel like I've handled now that I'm a little older, I've handled the embarrassment a little better, but my anxiety is a little higher, and I do have low self-esteem because when I get a big flare up, like a big cold sore, and I go talk to my friends, for example, or I'm out at work, I have like this, I overthink that people are just looking at my lips and looking at the cold sore. Because to me, it seems so big, but to other people, they're not really paying attention to that. They're not really just staring at your lips, looking at that. And if they do look at it, they're probably just like questioning it. But in my head, I'm just like, oh, they're saying stuff about me, or they're just staring at my cold sore, and I probably look so ugly, whatever. So that's something I still struggle with whenever I have an outbreak. I'd say my self-esteem does drop, and my anxiety does go up. And then with the social effects, if I have a cold sore, I most likely, if I get invited somewhere, like say a friend's house, whatever, family event, like I probably will try to avoid those events if I can, because like I said, that whole like stigma's in my head that, oh, they're looking at me, they're gonna look at my face, look at my lips, they're gonna see the cold sore, and I just feel like I look ugly. So that's something that's something that sucks, and I feel like it has affected me a lot. And to conclude, HSV1 is a widespread lifelong virus that causes cold sores primarily around the mouth. It remains dormant in the body and reactivates due to stress, illness, and other triggers, while incurable symptoms are manageable with antivirals and supportive treatment. Ongoing research offers help for vaccines and potential cures in the future. Understanding HSV1 helps reduce stigma and improve patient outcomes. Thank you.